But let's turn now to our first guest of the day. Carolyn Schultz is the Serva Fidem coordinator for the Northeast Des Moines Deanery. Carolyn, thank you for coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Now let's go ahead and talk about the big event that's coming up, and then we'll talk about you as well. So, the first ever Astra Youth Conference. What is that for folks who haven't had a chance to hear about it yet?
Yes, this is Serva Fidem's first kind of summit youth conference. So it's going to be happening this summer from July 17th to July 18th. So it'll kind of be a evening session starting at 5:30 in the evening on Friday, and then going into a Saturday all-day session. So it's for high schoolers all across the diocese, similar to maybe a SEEK or an NCYC, but it'll be at Grandview University in kind of a smaller setting, but still a place for students to have encounters, have great speakers. There'll be opportunity for sacraments and more, and to just have fellowship with each other as well.
Now, that's going to be July 17th through 18th at Grandview University in Des Moines.
Yes.
So the idea to have a summer thing for high schoolers to do, and just in case people are listening right now, so when do they need to sign up? Where do they go find information in that regard to make sure they have a chance to go do this?
Yes, absolutely. So it'll be on the Diocese of Des Moines website. You could even just search in @Astra, Diocese of Des Moines, or Serva Fidem into Google, and you'll be able to find it. And it's a pretty easy sign up. It's a $50 registration fee, and we have scholarships available as well that you could reach out about. But yeah, and honestly, signing up before the school year closes would be great, but anytime until July will probably work as well. But we encourage in the school year.
Absolutely wonderful. Now, Astra means to the stars. I know this for two reasons. When I lived in Kansas, and their state motto is the same as NASA's, Ad Astra per aspera. Now, Ad Astra means to the stars. You guys took off with difficulty. So it's easy to go to the stars with your youth conference here. Why did you guys choose that moniker for the youth conference?
Yeah, well, I mean, Serva Fidem is Latin as well, so we love our Latin, the universal language of the church, but also Pope Leo has been discussing a lot of, kind of analogies with young people and the stars, and that kind of being their destiny or horizon, being sparks of God as stars. So yeah, there's been a lot of Pope Leo has been discussing using that verbiage as well, which is exciting because we want to align with the Holy Father. And yeah, so that was kind of where we got that initially. Absolutely.
Wonderful. So with Serva Fidem, we've had various people on throughout the year, but again, for people who might not know, what is Serva Fidem, and why is it that something like this youth conference is a sort of natural progression, as it were, from what you guys have been doing here in the area?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, Serva Fidem provides small groups for students. It initially started at Dowling, and my job now is to expand it into the parishes and provide an opportunity for students to get in small groups with their peers, with a mentor. We really pray about getting the groups together and making sure it's a good fit for the students. So we also just wanted an opportunity at Astra to be kind of this larger group setting, as students are kind of having smaller encounters with their groups week to week. And especially as we're expanding further out, we wanted an opportunity for the whole diocese, not just necessarily Dowling, but any students in the diocese, not even Serva Fidem students, have to be to attend.
Well, and you got a wide range of speakers, and I think this shows the sort of nature and scope of what you're trying to get at. Father Reed Flood, the chaplain of Dowling, Father Max Carson, the chaplain of St. Albert's. Those two, they're always doing stuff together in the summer especially. Father Enan Zielinski, chaplain of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and then Katie Hopping, campus minister at St. Albert's. There's going to be more people as well, but obviously this emphasis, right, on with chaplains, of course, this drawing people out, right? Like that these are people who work regularly with youth, with high schoolers, and so that sort of concerted theme starts to show up, I think, in what you guys are trying to do here.
Yes, absolutely. It'll be exciting. We've got a lot of fun speakers lined up. Megan Schultz as well, campus minister at Drake, and kind of even just some local really superstars in Des Moines and in the Midwest area. So it'll be exciting. So
how long have you guys been, the process of thinking this up? When did it come about as a germ of an idea? Then, what brought about getting it set up so that this can be this culmination here in the summer?
Yes, we've kind of just been having conversations. I think the Diocese of Des Moines as well has been focusing on providing encounters for those in the diocese. And so Seraphitum has been working closely with the diocese and to align and provide opportunities for those encounters. And so it really just seemed like a natural fit that Seraphitum would provide something like this, as we're just involved with the youth ministry scene in Des Moines and now even across the country. Yeah,
well, you hinted at that earlier, so let's go ahead and hear your story. When did you start being a part of Seraphitum, and how is it that your role, like you were pointing out, what does a deanery mean? What does it mean that you're trying to expand past Dowling? Just fill in folks about that progression.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, personally, I've been involved with Seraphitum since pretty much its inception. I was one of the first groups at Dowling when I was there, and so really had an impactful experience with that. Went to the University of Missouri and just continued to grow my faith experience. And so when this job kind of opened up to take an experience that I had at Dowling and bring it to people that it wasn't available for them to have the experience, was really exciting to me, and to, taking new places. So I began in July, and so I work with 3 parishes in the Northeast Deanery. Deaneries are kind of groups of parishes that the Diocese of Des Moines is trying to work within that framework. So I work with St. John and Paul, St. Joseph's, and St. Luke's to try and get these small groups up and running with students in their parishes. And it's been going great so far. We have a few groups at each parish and just are continuing to see greater and greater fruit. Yeah,
so that's the hope, is that the small group model that is based in that Dowling has been doing, like you said, since you were just a kiddo back in the day, yes. Is something that you would hope that people who are in different schools or just in different opportunities or different arrangements would be able to do so at the parish level.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's exciting to me to see a couple different things, but mostly just, providing the opportunity to students that hadn't prior, and to see their excitement of like, oh, this can be for me, and something that hasn't been presented to them before. We're also seeing groups of students that aren't just explicitly Catholic. You see that at Dowling a little bit, but that's most exciting to me too, is we're seeing people that are outside of the Catholic denomination. Their friends from the volleyball team or the swim team are inviting them to be in a Seraphitum group. So it's cool.
So with parishes, so I know at Dowling, of course, mentoring, finding good mentors is maybe more than half the whole of this, right? That's sort of the idea. And with Dowling, a lot of that push initially was with alumni, right? You go find alumni to be mentors, and that's sort of a natural outlay. What is it like to go, get to prepare and form mentors at the parish level? How's that looked like in a sort of different way compared to what it was in its inception?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. I think the recruitment looks pretty similar, and we're not necessarily confined to, okay, this is a group at St. Luke's. They have to be with a St. Luke's mentor. We would prefer that, of course, but we're open to any people that want to mentor public school students or just mentor in general. So, that recruitment kind of just looks the same as it does at Dowling, with just looking at the Catholic communities, who's on fire, and how can we then forward them. So we have mentor formations along with that as well. And I do quarterly check-ins with the mentors too.
Yeah, so I asked this with every Seraphitum coordinator. Does that mean that you know where all of the coffee shops are in and around those 3 parishes?
Yes, definitely. The answer is yes to that question. I'm always at a coffee shop, so
finding people in the in between times they're able to get a chat with you. Well, to go back to the conference itself, the Astra Youth Conference, July 17th and 18th. When it comes to what's going on here, obviously formation, obviously hearing talks, is the hope, right, that going here, maybe for people who are interested in this idea, that they'd be able to go check out and hear what it's like to understand the sort of mentorship groups, or is this idea like, oh, the mentorship groups, they're going to come here and sort of get spiritually fed there of the summer to help propel them into the new year? What are your guys' hopes for people who make it to this conference?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's both. I think we really are welcome to students that are already in Seraphitum groups, whether that be at Dowling or within the parish or even outside of the specific Des Moines metro. We've got Seraphitums at different high schools now around the Midwest and around the country. So that's really exciting to get a place for these students that are already kind of having these small group encounters to see, oh, there's other people like me and I haven't met them before, and kind of just to look around. I think these conferences are a great opportunity for that. And then the other side of that would be students that aren't involved with Seraphitum or maybe don't even know that it's an opportunity for them to kind of get plugged in and say, oh, this was really awesome. This is cool. I want to continue continue being formed. I want to be in a more vulnerable setting with a small group.
So there's no small group Olympics going on. No, I'm joking. You have competitions between. I'm joking.
That could be fun.
The obstacle courses, right? See, you don't know. So with your experience one more time, to be able to do this, and then you said you go off to the University of Missouri. So when were you over there?
I just graduated in May, actually. So yeah, I'm fresh. Yes.
With what degree did you have?
Journalism, actually. So
there you go. That's why you're doing so good on the internet. So when you transplant that sort of experience, or the small groups, the mentorship in high school, I'm not acting like you, of course, found the exact analog or something like this in college, but I've heard this sort of line before too with Serva Fidem folks is, if high schoolers get practice at establishing small groups and finding mentors and things like this is something that becomes a habit that they're able to do when they go off to college and they're on their own. Did you see something like that? Did that process form your experience when you were able to go to college out there at Missouri?
Yes, absolutely. I think I just had the framework to have these kind of discussions. Having been in a small group, I knew how to interact with other people. I knew how to share about my faith. I knew I wanted to seek that out in some sort of way. And it was actually a Serva Fidem alumni who was a few years older than me that kind of got me plugged into the Newman Center and at Mizzou. And because she was involved with Serva Fidem, she kind of knew I was coming in and took me under her wing. And so it even provides that sort of network on campuses, which is interesting. But yeah, I got really involved with Focus, Fellowship of Catholic University Students, and was in a Bible study, was in discipleship, kind of those same small group settings. So I was ready to go once I hit the college campus. So.
Now, as a graduate of Mizzou, if you see a small group from KU, will you be nice to them?
I will be. I will be nice. I will be nice.
You'll be Christian. You have to love your enemies.
Yeah, but not as great as the Tigers. So,
That's fair. No. So finally, with so Northeast Deanery, and you're talking about expanding this. Is there other places where Serva Fidem is expanding past Dowling? And if people are interested in those sort of areas, or as it were, what would they do to go find out more, or do they contact you, or how does that work? In the Serva Fidem is expanding, and that means that other people who are interested might start to imagine doing that, whether it's students or people who think mentoring would be cool in a place that's neither Dowling or the Northeast Des Moines Deanery.
Yeah, good question. We kind of have two expansion models going on. So we're expanding within different Catholic high schools. So that began first. And so, yeah, we have probably around, I want to estimate around 15 schools across the country that are implementing Serva Fidem in their Catholic schools. So that's one area of that. And if you're interested in that, if you just search Serva Fidem, there's contacts online to get in touch about that. And then my contact is there as well. But any parishes that are interested in expanding, particularly in the Des Moines metro, I'd be a great person to talk to and would love to have that conversation as we continue to expand. But I would just go to the Serva Fidem website. We've got contacts on there.
Absolutely wonderful. So one more time, the 2-day gathering for high schoolers will take place July 17th and 18th, Grandview University in Des Moines, Iowa, at Astra Youth Conference. If people want to find out more or register, right?
Yep.
Where do they go do that at?
Diocese of Des Moines website. You'll find at Astra on there. You can also just search into Google Diocese of Des Moines at Astra, and it'll pull right up for you to register.
Absolutely wonderful. Caroline Schultz is the Serva Fidem coordinator and Northeast Des Moines Deanery. Carolyn, thank you for coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
Thank you for having me.